All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, we've talked about the deadlift record being broken recently, the bench press record being broken recently. Well, today, the squat all-time world record was broken. Powerlifter Brian Carroll hits a new all-time world record with a half-ton squat, 592.3 kgs, or 1,306 pounds. This record was broken officially in a competition with the RPS Powerlifting Federation. He is the first person to ever squat 1,300 pounds officially in a competition, and he got that 1306 on his fourth attempt at this meet. So obviously, this wasn't done raw. This was an equipped powerlifting meet, and he competed wearing a multi-ply suit, and he also had knee wraps on, so it's different than a raw squat. But I wanted to start out this video with a good powerlifting story. So shout out to Brian Carroll. I know there was a little bit of controversy. I believe there were some people questioning, I believe it was the depth of the squat that people were questioning. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the overall form and the lift itself of this 1306. Do you think there was anything questionable about it or not? Now, next up in the news, speaking of world record powerlifting attempts, the deadlift world record, we're about 1 week away right now from the new attempt on a new deadlift world record. This event held by World's Ultimate Strongman featuring Rauno Heinle, Ivan Makarov, and Mikhail Shivlikov. This will be a 502 kg deadlift attempt as well as a Masters deadlift world record attempt on October 18th, 2020. So this is the same organization under which Hafthor Bjornsson attempted his world record 501 kgs. So this is going to be interesting, and I'm wondering, do you guys think this record will be broken? The 502, do you think someone will break that record with 1 kilogram? So Hafthor broke the 500 by 1 kilogram with his 501, and it looks like they're going to be attempting to break his record by just 1 kilogram as well. So I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys think about these records being broken outside of competition. Technically, it's a competition, but it's kind of an online competition. I don't know what the location is going to be if these guys, like Ivan and Mikhail, if they're going to be at their home gym like Thor was. I'm not entirely sure what the circumstance or the setting will be. But what do you guys think about the whole record breaking by 1 kg and the whole live streamed, potentially at a home gym, outside of a meet type event? I don't officially know where this is going to be located again, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's in a competition, but I guess we'll see on October 18th. But I do want to know what you guys honestly think about these at-home world records being broken. Now, next up in the news, actually what I felt was a very impressive physique update from your current Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion, Chris Bumstead. He posted a side chest here, looking really round and really full, almost more so than he usually does. And he had the caption that he just wants a chest like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger was famous for that side chest pose and how crazy and shelf-like his chest was. But Chris is looking really dangerous, man. I really think it's going to be hard to make a case for someone to beat Chris at this year's Classic Physique Mr. Olympia. I think he's going to go 2 for 2 with winning the title. He went 2 for 2 with runner-up. He was runner-up 2 years in a row, and now he's finally won it. And personally, I think Chris has at least 2 title wins in him. I do think there's a lot of up-and-comers in Classic right now that are fantastic. Alex Combernero, you've got Rough Diesel, you've got Steve Lorius, you've got some great guys that are up-and-coming, and I think we're going to see big things from them in the future. But this year, I still believe that Chris has got it. Now, speaking of Classic Physique, Keone Pearson making the transition from Classic Physique to 212 at the Chicago Pro. It's crazy how quickly time has gone by. It seems like it was just yesterday we were saying that Keone was like 10 weeks out from the Chicago Pro. Now he's about a week away from his 212 debut at the Chicago Pro, where he looks to have put on about 30 pounds of muscle in between Classic Physique and 212, weighing in the 170s as a Classic Physique competitor at the Olympia, now weighing over 200 pounds, close to 210 as a 212 competitor. Now, Keone is looking to make a splash at this Chicago Pro, and honestly I think he has all the tools to be successful in that division. He's got great structure, some of the greatest genetics arguably in bodybuilding. I think Keone really does have some of the greatest genetics right now. The question is going to be who else is going to be doing this 212 show, because honestly I haven't heard a whole lot as far as competitor list for Chicago. I know a couple guys in Men's Open, and Keone is really one of the only guys that I know is doing 212 at the Chicago Pro. I don't know what the competitor list is looking like so far. I don't think there's any crazy big names in that lineup. But anyway, Keone posted this physique update where you can see kind of how shredded he really is. You can see the serratus muscle on the side of his abs there, which is a really telltale sign of good conditioning at 1 week out. Then, of course, he's showing off his legs, and you can see that cross-striation feathering in his quads. So not only are his quads separated, so separated vertically, but also they've got that horizontal separation, that feathering, which is really a telltale sign of good conditioning. So not only has Keone put on a tremendous amount of size, but he's bringing that size with good conditioning, and then with that great, crazy genetic structure that he has, I'm telling you guys, I think Keone is going to really surprise a lot of people. He's going to make a big pro debut in 212, and I think he really has what it takes to make it all the way to the 212 Olympia, and I think he's going to be top 6 at the 212 Olympia this year if he qualifies in Chicago. Now, next up, Labrada Nutrition was kind enough to sponsor this video. Again, there's a link in the description below if you want to check out the Lean Body website and get yourself a Lean Body shake. There's a link down in the description box below if you want to use that. So here is the Labrada sponsored video ad. Now, let's get to the fun part of this video, the speculation. This topic is going to be about Big Ramy and the fact that he still does have a chance at getting to the Mr. Olympia on points. That's right. We could still see Ramy get to the Olympia. No special invitation needed, even though he can't compete in the Spain show coming up this weekend because he tested positive for the virus. So if you look at the point standings, this is where things get fun. The point standings are kind of the fun part of the qualification for the Olympia. So right now, Big Ramy is in third place with 9 points. Well, he's in a tie for third place with 9 points. So I'm not entirely sure how that works as far as a tiebreaker goes, if both of them would go to the Olympia or what. But the top 3 in points go to the Olympia. That's how they qualify. But if you look at the point standings, Lucas Osadil is in second with 10 points. He's competing in this Europa Spain this weekend. So if Lucas were to win the show or place top 3, he would move up to the qualified competitors list, out of the points list, bumping Big Ramy up to second. Now, if Regan Grimes were to place in this show, then he would also be bumped out of this list, and he's in fourth place right now. So Regan would be bumped out of this list up into the already qualified list. So if he were to place top 3, he'd be out of there as well. Now, Justin, who is also in a tie for fourth, if Justin is competing next week at the Chicago Pro, Justin Rodriguez, if he wins that show, he's going to be bumped up to the already qualified competitors list. And Ramy would be relatively safe in that second place spot. So the biggest thing that we really want to see at the Europa Spain is if Lucas Osadil places top 3, that gives Big Ramy that bump to second place and gives him a really strong possibility of getting to the Olympia. Now, that being said, there's a lot of factors that could work against Ramy here. If Regan is outside of the top 3, so if he's 4th or 5th in Spain, Regan would then get enough points to be bumped above Ramy, and he would still be in the points, and Regan would go to the Olympia. And of course, if Lucas didn't place in the top 3, he would still be in that second place spot most likely, the second place spot in the point standing. So then you've also got Justin. So if Justin were to place second or third or even in the top 5, I think at that Chicago Pro, that would give him enough points to be above Big Ramy in the point standings. You've also got Sergio Oliva Jr. with 7 points. Now, some people have said, I'll show you this recent picture of Sergio that he posted. Well, it's debatable whether or not it's recent. He posted this most muscular, and I've heard some rumors that Sergio is going to do the Chicago Pro. It's not confirmed. I don't know for sure, but people have been saying he's going to do Chicago. Again, if Sergio were to win Chicago, if he did Chicago, no big deal because he would no longer be in the point standings. But if Sergio were to be second or third, he would get enough points to be bumped up above Big Ramy. So there's a lot of different things that could happen over the next 2 weeks that could allow Ramy to get there or not. And then if Ramy is bumped out of the point standings, the question then remains, what is the criteria going to be this year for a special invite to the Olympia? Now, that's the big question. If Ramy is bumped out of the points, will they invite him? Will the Olympia promoters, will the Manions allow him to compete off a special invitation? Now, keep in mind, last year, they did give Cedric McMillan a special invitation on the basis that there were factors outside of his control with the military, his military obligations, that didn't allow him to compete to qualify for the Olympia. So they offered Cedric a special invitation. Now, I believe Cedric's best placing at an Olympia is 7th place. So Big Ramy, obviously these circumstances are outside of his control with testing positive and all that. Big Ramy has been a runner-up at the Olympia, not just top 7 good. Big Ramy has been, I almost won the Olympia good. So you would think he does kind of deserve a special invitation. It's not like he didn't compete at all this year. He competed in the second biggest show at the Arnold Classic, but that wasn't good enough to earn him an Olympia qualification, his placing there. And then I know there were some people asking me as well about this. There's a Romania Muscle Pro show at the end of November. The cutoff to qualify for the 2020 Mr. Olympia is October 18th. This Romania Muscle show is somewhere in the 20s of October, so it's past that deadline. So that's a 2021 Olympic qualifier. So I guess Ramy could do that show maybe if he's quarantined long enough or whatever, try to qualify for next year because he's already in shape or close to being in shape. But if you are a big Ramy fan, don't lose hope because like I just said, there's a couple different scenarios where Ramy could still get there without the special invitation. We're just going to have to pay really close attention to how these last 2 shows go. Spain and Chicago are going to be very important for those competitors, but it's going to be very important for Ramy because the outcome of those shows is going to pretty much determine whether or not he goes to the Olympia. So we're going to have to stay tuned for that. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.